Hey everyone. So one thing that's kind of interesting about this episode is that while it is Vegapunk continuing to put the world government on blast by revealing all the dirty laundry of its public, this part is specifically also very much feels like a lamentation that although the world government are responsible for creating the current circumstances because of the misuse of the weapons, he's just as guilty by virtue of trying to use the weapons as a means to provide the world with an unlimited energy resource. And again, although one although one is obviously much more noble goal over the other, I do like how Vegapunk still recognizes it as a very weighted sin he's committed by using something that took so many lives to make such progress in his own research. For Vegapunk, it very much is that thing where he genuinely believed in the idea that the Mother Flame could be used for good, good, even despite its history of all the violence it's caused. But like anything else in the world, human beings, but I guess in this case, the elders and those at the top are going to find a means in which to turn it into something to destroy. And and in a weird sense, it was sort of a life for a life kind of trade that Vegapunk had done. Like again, it's that thing where he was using something that took so many lives, but was trying to use it to help so many people as well. And yeah, the episode ends with York kind of telling the elders where the transmission is coming from, the Iron Giant, and obviously with that one with that one with that one phase ends and another begins. As if it hasn't been made clear yet, the giant is not going to be taken down so easily, and I love the idea of this reveal in itself, just for that it's something so seemingly simple and so ingenious because it plays on the expectation of something being in the last place you least expect it to be. Although in this case, it's also a place that's not going to be easy to destroy either. And to quote Anakin Skywalker, this is where the fun begins, as the giant has a few of its own secrets it has yet to spill. So, yeah, everything is just so perfectly in place now. With all that said, now, in saying all that, there was something weird about this episode that I do need to talk about, and I just because it's something I couldn't really place. It was a feeling that while this was a great episode, there was also places where something felt off, and the thing is I couldn't pin down what it was, and at first I thought it was the usual suspect of art and animation. But the more I thought about it, this episode, honestly, after rewatching it a couple times, it's one of those, to me, it's not just art and animation. In fact, art and animation is actually one of the things that was kind of good about it. The problem I think I have with this episode is just the more general direction felt completely off, because there were a lot of the thing is there were a lot of great moments throughout the episode, but there are also so many other scenes and whatnot that felt like they could have been elevated a bit more. Like it feels like this arc, and especially with this episode, we've kind of reached that phase now that phase of this arc where it feels like the anime is just doing the bare minimum in a lot of moments that could use a bit more of creative touch, whether in camera work or lighting or whatnot. But like again, as is, it's fine. But it feels like there could be a little bit more done. But we're just kind of going through the motions right now. Um, with that said, this episode gave a rather surprising amount of spotlight on Stussy and her emotional development. One thing I loved right at the gate with this part of the episode is that although she was a clone created by Vegapunk, we see how much Stussy herself kind of took that to the little extreme. Like that for her, because she was created by Vegapunk, she must remain loyal to Vegapunk. That was how she validated her entire existence. But what she wasn't counting on was actually becoming more human, forming bonds with people she was likely only told to monitor. And in a lot of ways, the entirety of Egghead has led to her to this point, and her sort of existential breakdown where she doesn't know what to do. Her head is telling her to save what remains of Vegapunk and his legacy, but her heart is telling her something completely different. And I do like how it was Edison who finally sets her free by telling her to escape, live on, and not die with the rest of them. Like Egghead is done for. The world, this is a battle the world government has won, but you can continue to live on in order to ensure that that legacy at least lives on, so to speak. So yeah, it's kind of passing the torch in a weird way. And yeah, and obviously one of the biggest reveals of this episode is when Vegapunk drops the bombshell that the ones who learned the truth of the world before the era we live in now were the Roger Pirates. And once again, recent events in the manga and taken with the knowledge that is being revealed now, it is funny looking back on Rayleigh's words about the idea that we might have rushed things and it just wasn't time yet. Because in a way, the Void Cent... that was, I think, Rayleigh's way of saying the Void Century has been waiting for a certain moment in time to finally return in full force. A time where those that carry the D in their names resurface. And that time now, even though it wasn't their time yet, that time is rapidly approaching now, as many people like that are starting to resurface. And the irony is, in the government's attempts to suppress the return of the Old Kingdom and the old order, they might just be expediting its return. Like, that's kind of the funny thing about the government, that they're so intent on keeping control of power that they might just lose it. That they're continuously doing things that might just make that control slip out of their hands. Now, with that said, like I said, with the previous episode, this one continues to go to painstaking lengths to reintroduce us to old faces from the past, and I think it goes without saying that this is very much purposeful. Like, the intent itself is to show us that in some way, shape, or form, from each of the critical and key characters we met throughout this journey, are all going to play some role preventing the disaster that happened during the time of the Void Century from happening again. That the worlds will come together to prevent it from sinking beneath the waves again, like it did so many eons ago. And I think the funniest thing about this for me, there were two kind of funny moments for me in this episode. The first was basically when we cut to Akainu and saying, "So you're really gonna reveal everything, Vegapunk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker, he's gonna reveal all that he can before the robot stops. So yeah, prepare to have all your dirty laundry out in the open. And what are you gonna? And question to Akainu, what are you gonna do then when that happens, huh? What's your move gonna be, asshole? Just saying." Also, also the other hilarious part is I do find it hilariously ironic that the first country to question Vegapunk about the war from 800 years ago continuing is Alabasta, the country whose monarch kind of incited this whole war, but I guess you can't really blame them either because they don't know about Lily's actions during that time, and it is one of those things that is going to make Vivi's return to Alabasta all the more intriguing because by that point she's probably going to have a full-on understanding of what happened, of what might have happened at the Reverie, and just what her country's involvement in this whole thing finally means. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Blue Sky, and on Crunchyroll, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and just shit everyone, guys. Dark Knight of Enemy, signing off. Later, everyone.